If you're on the windy side of it, you don't feel it because the wind's buffeting you about, you see. But if you go around in the slipstream and sit on the stage nice and quiet and just lean against the wall, you can feel it moving, you know, rocking. Nice. A big gust and you'll feel it go right over, and then there's a bit of a lee in the wind, you feel it come back. It's quite unbelievable, you know. There's not many people experienced out like that.
Good morning, everybody. This is going to be a quick one. My worst nightmare is upon us. I am doing a grave whilst there's a ceremony going on. I'm doing the grave of Fred Dibnah. I am far too young for Fred Dibnah, but he is my insomnia friend. When I can't sleep, I put Fred Dibnah on and look at his lunacy, and it makes me feel better. I don't know too much, but he had a TV show, and your parents and your grandparents know who he is, and I'll put some footage of what he used to do. It's insane what he used to do. The world before health and safety. But I thought I'd show you a cemetery, but I also wanted to... He had a TV show, and it's really quite eerie. I've only seen one episode of this TV show, and it was this one. And he's got his hand on a grave, and he's talking about one day being here, about dying, very comfortable with his own mortality, and he is here. And I thought that scene was really remarkable, and the grave he had his hand on is just here. So I'll put some footage on. There's a grave, there's a ceremony, a thing going on up there, a burial.
Like, when my time comes, you know, I think you couldn't really find a more peaceful and nicer cemetery than this, you know. It's nice and quiet, you know, and they cut the grass regular. Not that you'd notice, like, when you're 6 foot under, but it's much nicer than being turned into a little plastic bag or a tin can full of fag ash, innit? And sort of besides, I wouldn't mind building my own gravestone, you know, like make one like a chimney with a staging round the top, you know, lightning conductor on and everything. Very fancy, you know, with a beautiful fancy top on it.
But this is where he stood. I believe the programme was in the 80s. Yes, that makes sense. So, about the time or just before I was being born, he had his hand on that grave, and he was talking about being buried, and I believe he's buried, unfortunately, up here where the ceremony is going on, but I'll try and be discreet. So I think I see his grave. It's just up here. I feel really uncomfortable whilst people are mourning doing a video. I'm really not happy about it. But I'll quickly run over and show you the grave. I think his grave is that one. They say iPhone zoom is terrible, but it works. I could read that is Fred Dibnah. Let's take a couple of pictures and a couple of videos for you. I have unbelievably bad grass allergy, pollen. I'm okay when it's like this, but once it's being cut, I'm very allergic. Like, try and stay out of the blimmin' grave. What is going on? Alright. Much loved steepleback, Fred Dibnah. So this is going to be a really short video, because if I was in mourning and somebody was doing a video, I'd hate it. So I want to stay all away from there. But his work shop is just over my shoulder, and it's a big funeral as well. And if you're in the area, have a look at his house and his workshop. There's people work there. It's a working workshop, but they let you go in and take a few pictures, and I'll put some footage on, and I'll put their Facebook page. I'm not going to remember it. I said I would like their Facebook page, and if I can remember it, I'll put it on here.
Hitherto, Fred had regarded his domain merely as a shelter for his steam engines and his family. Now he began to feel pride in its possession and its idyllic situation.
And said, well, how much will you give me? Well, in the, you know, for this here house, you see. And I wandered around showing him all the bad points. So there's a...
Thank you so much. So these are the graves he has his hands on, and if you pan over really quickly, his grave is that one there. So that's how close. I find it really weird that he was talking about his death and being buried here, and he wouldn't have known within 50 yards it's where he would be buried. And the lads at the workshop said when the trees are cut back, you can actually see his grave from his workshop. And they were saying they were young when Fred Dibnah was still alive, but he was a local celebrity here. He was a national treasure, a national celebrity, but he was a big deal here. And when he was buried here, there was just a long line of a funeral procession there to celebrate Fred Dibnah. Anyway, really quick. Felt awful doing it when there was a funeral going on. Hope you liked. I'm moving on from Bolton, moving closer to Manchester, so a few more videos coming up, a few more graves, a few more stories, and I hope you have a nice day.